Hey y'all, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for tuning in to what is going to be yet another Spring 2017 Drugstore review. At least we're a little bit of the way into winter to where it feels like a respectable amount of time to be talking about next season's beauty products, but a few weeks back when I found some new Physicians Formula products that were for spring of next year seemed a little out of whack. So a little bit better, not entirely though. Nevertheless, these are some really interesting looking products. I mean, suspiciously looking like Urban Decay Naked Palettes. I think we can all agree on that. So I saw these on the shelves at my local H-E-B and they were less than $7 a piece. They are from Rimmel. They are Magnif'eyes shadows, and so less than $7 a piece. I didn't keep my receipt, but from what I can see online, other people who have found these and started picking them up already, they're paying anywhere from like $5 and some change to $6 and some change. So pretty sure these are less than $7 and you get 12 shadows in each palette. I had to give them a try, so let's go ahead and dive in. Like I said, these are the Magnif'eyes shadow palettes, and I was especially eager to pick these up because I loved their 5-pan like Ultra HD. I forget what the name of them was, but they were in a top 5 favorites video, and then literally like that, they were off the market. They were for sale for like a hot minute, and then they were gone, and I have no idea why, because of the 3 different formulas I've tried from Rimmel, that was easily the best. So I bought all 3 of these in with the hope that they would put that formula in here and I would be in hog heaven. So there are 3 palettes. Let's start with this guy. This, I think it's pretty obvious. This is effectively, it is the Naked 1 dupe, and I use dupe loosely. There's a reason this is not a dupe or dud. It is a review because none of these exactly dupe the Naked palettes. You might find similar shades among each, but as far as shade for shade goes, there are many differences that, for my standards of a dupe, make this not eligible. But just by this color selection, the shade range, supposed to be strikingly similar, I'm assuming. So you can see inside here you have the warmer tone golds, light champagne-y shades, and deep dark neutrals. The way they have all of these palettes divided is that they recommend is by trio. So they have the first 4 here, the middle 4 here, and the last 4 here, and they recommend you apply a light shade, a medium shade, and a deep shade to kind of create one of 3 looks that they give you on the back here. All of these palettes offer them if you want like a little bit of a guideline, but if you don't like to play by the rules, you don't have to. You got 12 shades to play among. So that is palette number 1. Next up is London Nudes Calling. This is actually, there are literally numbered. That was 1, this is 2. London Nudes Calling. Ironically, I would say this is more of the rosy, plummy tones, which is why it's most like the Naked 3 palette from Urban Decay. Although I will say it lacks a little bit of the contrast. It really is kind of light rosy shades all the way until you hit this last quad where you get your deeper taupes, your plum, and a rich copper shade, which is not in the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. And this is what I am wearing on my eyes right now. Then the final palette is, interestingly enough, I thought they were gonna do what a lot of other brands out there do, which is go straight for Naked 2. I mean, Naked 1, 2, and 3, it's a pretty nice little trio there, but this one changed the game up. This is the number 3 Grunge Glamour palette, and it nicely lines up with the Urban Decay Smoky Naked, or Naked Smokes. What is it called? It is this guy, the Naked Smoky palette, one of my favorites from Urban Decay, and this is a pretty close comparison. You have your kind of warm, creamy nudes, and then your cooler mid-tones, and then your beautiful like smoked out plum, your nice deep chocolate brown here. And to talk about the palettes in a more broad sense, like as a whole, I really like the mixture of textures they have in these. Unlike the Naked palettes where it was like pulling teeth to get 1, 2 matte shades per palette, each of these, it varies, but can go between, 3 to 5. Is there 6? No, at least 3. This one has 5 though, and so especially in this one, you can create an all matte shadow look, you can create an all shimmery look, switch it up, you have your crease shades, all that good stuff, and yet you have like this ultra glittery black here on the end. You have a nice shimmery plum. They just did a really good job about mixing up the textures and giving you decent shadows to work with in each of those textures. These aren't matte shadows that are like bottom of the barrel. You're gonna, just barely eke by trying to get them to apply evenly. They don't tug as they apply. They aren't super flaky, crumbly, fallouty as they apply. They're a pretty good quality matte shadow, especially coming especially coming from the drugstore in a larger palette like this, which I feel like, especially in palettes like these, they can tend to skimp on some of the shades here. You know, they're like, oh, well, it's an affordable palette, so as long as you get, you know, half of the shades are really excellent shades and the other half are, nah, not so much, it's still worth the money. All of these shades in this and the other two palettes in this collection are really, really nice. Are they Urban Decay quality? No, I would say that they're milled a little bit more finely. They're a little bit soft. They don't have, there are none of those chunky, what are Urban Decay calls them, their micro glitter or something. There are none of those shades in here, but I was pretty impressed with the quality for the price. And it's interesting, I feel like really rarely do I run across a palette that swatches poorly and applies well. It happens, and it has happened. I know it happens to a lot of people, but it doesn't happen a whole lot for me. And so especially in comparing these directly against the Naked palette, like with one on top and one on the bottom right across from each other, it was interesting to see the difference in color payoff. And yet when it comes to application, I'm still really impressed with the Magnif'eyes palettes from Rimmel. Side by side, it doesn't look like they can hold a candle to the Urban Decay, but really when it comes to application, they're very layerable. You apply them over a base. By the way, all the swatches that I showed today were not applied over a shadow base. It was over bare skin, swatched with a finger, one swipe down, and called it a day. Just to give you an idea of the standard that I'm working with, but I just feel like these applied so much better with a brush versus swatched. So basically, with that, I gotta recommend these. I mean, $7 or less, and you get 12 shadows, a mix of textures, good quality shadows, and they give you anything, I mean, depending on the palette you go after, of course, they give you everything from, you know, basic everyday eye, to vamp it up smoky eye, to a palette that offers a little bit of everything in between. I just think you really can't go wrong with these. So hopefully they start showing up more frequently in drugstores. I'd love to hear from you guys if you've seen them. Let me know in the comments below, or let everybody else know in the comments since I already have them. Definitely do that. But besides that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye, guys.